how's it going? Alright, today what we've got here is a Japanese MegaDrive, and this was sent through to me from WickedClownNZ, or Chris. Now, Chris sent me this machine because it's got a bit of a strange fault, and I thought what I'd do is I'd basically, not so much a repair log, but because there's a few pointers I'm going to be able to give you with these. So I thought I'd, anyway, go through the repair with you guys and show you what we're going to do. Now, the fault that it's got is, well, the main one anyway, is that it'll only run this cartridge and not any copy of Mortal Kombat 2. This one. This is a bootleg Mortal Kombat 2, and yeah, apparently it's the only game it works with. So what we want to do obviously is correct that so it'll run any game. But the other thing, and I've actually seen a couple of these recently. This machine is a Japanese machine, but it's actually what's called Asian PAL, or that's what they seem to be referred to as a Asian PAL MegaDrive, because yes, they're Japanese, but they run PAL games only, and all the NTSC and all that sort of stuff is gone. They run in English language, and these become a bit of a trap, I believe, from what I've seen in that, where a lot of guys would go and buy these looking like a Japanese machine, and when they'd get it home, of course, it would only run these PAL games, and they'd be quite disappointed. The good news is, though, it's actually very easy to fix. You see, Sega never made an Asian PAL machine. What they actually are, and well, what happened back in the day is that I think guys over in, I think it was something like Hong Kong or something, were buying these Japanese machines, modifying them themselves, packaging them up, and then selling them like that as an Asian PAL machine. So, but because of that, it is actually still a genuine Jap machine that we can put back to that, and that's what we're going to do as part of our repair. So generally the modifications done to these in the factory, to be quite honest, well, not factory, wherever they were done, but to be quite honest, they're very quite poorly done. As you'll see, they're not very nice. But on the good side though, if you happen to have brought a Japanese machine that turned out to be PAL Asian, this video will give you a couple of quick tips, if you don't already know, on how to put it back to being what it's supposed to be. Okay, so taking our lid off, the first thing you're going to see inside one of these is it's had a RF modulator jammed into it. This is all rusted and it's just floating freely inside here, and they've routed out an RF cable. Now, fortunately for this one, they've just gone out through the little hole here that's for the when you use the master system adapter. But I had another one recently where they'd actually bored a hole in over on this side. So at least they haven't done too much damage to the structure, but this is yuck. So we're going to get rid of this first up and basically throw that away. The other thing as well is that I've noticed with a lot of these machines that you probably can't see it just yet, but there's not very many screws left holding the motherboard down either. Pretty much back then they must have just left half of them out. Like on the cartridge connector here, there's only one screw instead of the two, and the motherboard's held on by 1, 2, 3 extra screws, that's it. So what I'll probably do is, it doesn't matter, I mean, the machine's obviously not going to suddenly fly apart sitting on your desk, but just around the controller ports and that, I like to have a couple of extra screws. Definitely make sure there's one up near the power socket, or basically anywhere where the user is going to be interacting with it, you know, plugging bits and pieces in, because that's where it's going to get extra stress. So if it's got a bit of support there, it would be a good idea. So that's one thing to look for, is finding a couple of spare screws, and also this horrible thing hanging around in here, which we're going to get rid of. Okay, so on the bottom of your motherboard, what you're going to find is where this RF adapter has been installed, is you're going to find all these extra wires basically that are used to power the RF adapter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly nip along and desolder them all, because we basically want this RF adapter out. Now, some of these, as you can see, are attached to quite small components, so just be a little bit careful with your heat. And because this was done many years ago, just apply a little bit of solder to it just to get it started, and then it'll pretty much just come off. Okay, so there's our RF unit removed. That is now going to go in the bin. Right, next up, You'll also find on pins, I think it's 6 and 7, that they've installed a little wee oscillator, and this is a 4.43 megahertz 2-pin oscillator, and they've done this to give it the power frequency. Also what they've done, I'll just move this over a little bit, hopefully you can see, there we go. They've also put a cut in to stop the factory clock from getting through. So we're going to join that back up. But first up, we'll quickly resolder this to loosen it up. Okay, so now that we've got rid of that and got rid of the crystal, what we're going to do is just this track that's been cut, we're going to put a wire link in just to repair it, and just basically just have a look at it, have a look at the board and see where it joins up, and then just put a wire in. So basically you can see our track, I don't know how well this is showing up, but it comes down here, comes along and then goes up. So it's this component and this component that need to be rejoined to get our factory clock back through. So again, I just put a little bit of solder on each end. Okay, so that's now linked back up, so that will allow the factory clock speed to carry on back through. And the only other thing we're probably going to need to do is they also do the jumpers, so we're going to have a quick look at that. Okay, so looking at the jumper block, you can see they've left this big ugly blob of solder here to join a couple of tracks up, and they've also put a cut in this track here, joining these two up. So what we're going to do is, Chris just wants this to be fully Japanese again, so I'm going to apply some solder to that. And pretty much just get rid of it here where it was originally. And this one here, because it's been cut, we're going to need to just put a little wire link in, just to get that to join back up again. Okay, so right, doesn't look quite the prettiest, but that will do the job. So that's got that link back up, and pretty much our machine should be back to NTSC now and ready to work properly as it was. So what I'll do is I might just carry on and give the board just a bit of a general scrub up, make sure there's no other joints in that that need resoldering while I've got it apart, and then we'll move on to giving a quick clean up. And of course probably a test. Okay, so the rest of the board's looking pretty good. What I am going to do though is, Chris was also saying that he doesn't have his AV cable for this machine, so I'm actually going to do a quick AV mod as well. So we're just going to do composite and stereo, so we'll just basically solder on a couple of wires, get that ready. Attach a wire for our composite. And now we'll also get a ground attached, and we'll get some sound cables attached. Okay, the other thing we're going to do, as I was just saying, is we're going to add some sound cables. So we're just going to grab our left and right stereo. Now, a lot of people, I've noticed in some of the forums now, have been saying that they're not happy with grabbing the audio out from pins 1 and 8 from the Sony sound processors. So what we're going to do instead for this machine is I'm just going to tap onto basically the headphone jack. So when you're looking at the bottom of the headphone jack, you've got 3 pins, and you can see the little wire that's going off to the floating board, just down the bottom of the screen there. And you'll notice that one of them is connected to the large ground plane, because it is ground, and the other 2 are your left and right. So you can grab them here or further up or wherever you'd like. So I'm just going to tap straight onto the pins. Okay, so here's some wires for our sound, and we'll start putting the machine back together. Alright guys, so basically I've got the machine back together now. I've given the machine just a very quick polish. You can see it's got a nice little sort of shine on it once again. I took out the old reset button, and I happen to have a spare, so I've got a nice new blue one in there for him. And also just on the back we've just got our quick composite and stereo mod. So the important thing now is it back to being a full Japanese machine? And of course, yeah, it doesn't run more than just that bootleg cartridge, and I guess overall does it work. So we'll get it plugged in, we'll give it a try. Okay, so I've just got it hooked up to the TV here, and first thing we're going to try is we'll try this bootleg cartridge just to make sure it still runs that. So we'll turn it on. Yep, okay. Kind of hard to see with all the reflection, but there we go. Okay. And I've retensioned the slot as well, so it's got a little bit of a bite to it. And just to test a regular cartridge, we've got our Streets of Rage here. Okay, so Streets of Rage has come up, and just wait for our language. There we go. So back to being NTSC with no borders, back to being Japanese language, so it's back to its original state, and yeah, looking kind of tidy. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully any of you out there that have a one of these PAL Asian machines will see now that, you know, they're actually not the end of the world. It's very easy to put them back to how they were meant to be, and yeah, maybe you're getting to enjoy them. And Chris, when you get your machine back, you'll probably see this video first, but when you get it back, I do hope you like it, mate. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again real soon.